Welcome to the V8 Veterans round number 7 tonight, live from Sebring International Raceway. Thanks to Quantum Tint Solutions, we are getting set for a 300-kilometre race tonight around this airfield of a circuit. Quite flat track tonight. The racing in this split one event should be pretty tight, with the qualifying times coming up on the screen now. And it is once again a fantastic qualifying effort by Mr. Greg Favell, who puts it on pole position by 24 thousandths of a second over Scott Gamble. John Latham, your top three. A couple of drivers just outside the fringe there of the top 10. O'Brien doing well in 11th. Friend McCune, Van der Kraan down there as well. Dan Hall just outside the top 10. But you've got the regulars up there. Dixon, Nitschke, Sharp, Tixia, Smart, Bence, McKnight, all up there in the top 10, getting ready to do battle as they just finish up now their little bit of a warm-up session. Let's head down to the racetrack and have a little bit of a look and pick up some drivers here with about 2.5 minutes to go before we go into tonight's big 300-kilometre race. Hope you're doing well out there. Welcome aboard. My name's Luke. This is RACESTARS TV. And g'day Keith, nice to have you here tonight as well. Everyone else that's tuning in, getting set for action tonight. Hopefully these boys have brought some friends and they're ready for a big night of racing. There's Mr. Hoffman in the Pecky Performance Racing machine out there. Tim Nichols on the track now as well, getting himself set for racing. John King, who we saw before, and the Hypersonic Racing drivers just doing some practice starts on the pit straight, which is always something that you should never forget to do. At practice start at 2, there is Michael Stewie Stewart giving a bit of giving a bit of wheel spin and then trying again. So just under 2 minutes to go in this round 7 event from Sebring for the V8 Veterans. All the drivers over the age of 40. As Nitschke in the juice car looking good as always in the sunshine here. The weather tonight for the race, 18 degrees ambient, 20 degrees track. It's a clear sky, set at 8:16 a.m. in the morning local time here at Sebring. And perfect conditions for racing, it's got to be said. Wish the conditions were like that in the real world right now. Scotty Gamble coming off a win. Let's see what he can do tonight. He's going to start from the first row of the grid alongside Favell, and the Evolution Racing Team driver would try no doubt to extend himself and possibly take another win. 2 in a row would be nice to see. Get involved tonight if you want to be part of the chat. All you got to do is type away. I don't think there's any requirements to do anything except just type and get involved. I'll try and reference a few of those comments and get you guys up there as much as possible. Christine, g'day, and I hope you're doing well. And we've got a few driver cams tonight as well to mention and go over as in fact, I think we've got 3 or 4 drivers tonight giving us full access to their cameras, which is fantastic. Jeff Thomas and Scott McCune, Damien Cairns as well, and Michael Stewart giving us full access to his race cam, which is fantastic. It just gives us that extra insight into seeing the drivers drive and what they do at this time. You can see the VR headset there. We'll go through all that shortly once we get down to the race, but it's time to go across and call the full grid tonight. Let's get set to go racing. So as the checkered flag drops here on the warm-up practice session and with qualifying run and done, it is time to go and read out the grid. This is how they will line up tonight. Greg Favell from pole position alongside Scott Gamble. Johnny Latham off the second row with Nitschke for company. Then it's Dixon and Tixia on the third row. Greg Sharp and Christian Smart rounding out the top 8 on the fourth row with Jason Bence and Jamie McKnight, your top 10. Brenton O'Brien starts on the 6th row tonight out of 11th place with Craig Friend alongside him. 13th on the grid, Scott McCune. Matt Van der Kraan starts from 14th with Dan Hall and Anthony Visma, your top 16. Then it's Chad Weiger, Stephen Kennedy, Chris Dale and Lewis to round out your top 20. Back further, 21st, Todd Duggan, Damien Cairns, 22nd with David Kirby and Michael Stewart, your top 24 drivers. 25th on the grid tonight in this big field of cars, Stewie Hall with then Jeff Thomas alongside him. Tim Nicol out of 27, John King and then Peter Van der Kraan and Marty Henson to round out your top 30. Andrew Hoffman will start from 31st tonight with Warren Davis in 32nd. Then it's David Coleman, Andrew Ritchie, race control of course, and Luke Holland as well in race control tonight. Those guys at the back just making sure that everyone is in check, and could be a slow grid up tonight. I think everyone's just making sure they're set, ready to go. Obviously fixed setup racing. One car on the grid is Jason Dixon, the only car at the moment on the grid in the top 10. So it's a lonely old grid out there for Mr. Dixon. He's excited and ready to roll. Just needs some competitors alongside him as Greg Sharp loads in and others load into their sims and get ready to rumble. You can see the still only 2 cars out of the top 10 on the grid tonight. Minute and a half to go though. It is quite a long hold, as always, at these races before we go live, and the nerves will be rising for the drivers as well. So we'll stand by. We may go as far as 3 minutes time. We'll listen to a little bit of race control throughout the night and see what they're chatting about. You quite often get little radio checks at this time and all that sort of thing.
Radio check.
Copy.
Radio check there, and all the drivers just doing their last minute checks obviously before they have to rev it up and release that clutch and then get into 300 kilometers of racing. So it's a big one tonight. What are we? It's almost 5 to 9 local time here, hour south of Sydney. We're looking at probably a couple of hours of racing coming up, and a couple of special guests maybe showing up as well. Give me a break here and there as we're waiting on Tixia, Favell and Todd Duggan, your final drivers, to jump onto the grid with 30 seconds to go. We do have a few little bits of information coming through from Rick Viger tonight. 51 lap race, starting fuel 70 laps with a range of about 15 laps. So we expect to see 15 laps before the first pit stops. Fuel capacity of 90% gives a range of 21 laps thereafter, which means the critical laps tonight, lap 9 and 30. So once we get to lap 30, you can fuel it up and bring it home. We'll be watching that with interest and see how the strategy rolls out. Watch Greg Favell. He's been pretty good off the front row and pretty consistent at starting without any issue at all. The revs rise here for round 7 of the V8 veterans from Sebring, and we wait for the green. It's a long hold. There's the green now. Good getaway at the front row. They got away perfectly. In fact, quite even gamble. Maybe with a little bit better of a start. He's now getting alongside Favell. John Latham also got away well. And it is Favell. Bit of contact there. Latham looks down the inside as they sweep through turn 1. It's Favell out in front. Gamble tucked in behind in a battle here with Latham. And they're really pushing each other in these first couple of corners. Dixon's back there as well. And further back in the field, making up some positions. Damien Cairns already up 2 and moving on quite nicely. You can see further back. There it is, bunching up. Everyone just trying to take their time, get settled in on this opening lap. Out in front, Greg Favell doing what he does best, and that is break away from the pack and already build a 5/10 of a second lead. Duggan asking for someone to check that. Dixon hard on the brakes, almost into the back of Nitschke there. Bit of a, well, they all bunched up, didn't they, as they were caught a little bit by how late on the brakes Dixon was. McKnight all over the back of Tixie is in 10th. That's where he started. Hasn't made up any spots yet. We're right on board with the 8 times champion of this series, Jamie McKnight, tucking in behind Tixie. Real early shift there to get himself set for the exit of the corner, minimise the wheel spin. Jason Benz, great to have him back in the Series 2, currently running 8th place behind Smart and Sharp. There is Sharp in the Penrite car. You can just see behind him Christian Smart. After what was an interesting performance last week, he was a fair way back, especially with his qualifying time. He's qualified much better tonight inside the top 10. But Greg Favell, look at him go, almost a second lead already as he gets onto the back straight here at Sebring, and wow, he's definitely in some true form tonight. And will he carry on? 2 drivers to make it into the sub 2 minute lap times as we look at the field of cars going down the back straight for the first time. Now into this classic final corner where you sweep through, try and get the line right, just clip the apex on the exit, which Favell does very well. You can see in the background there Dixon. Nice toe behind Nitschke. He might even look for an overtake down the end of the pit straight. So a 2:05 from a standing start, not bad at all for your race leader. Favell in control out in front, and we just look at the way they start to hold this single file, and we expect to see that it's become quite a trait of this series. Fuel saving now for the next 10 or so laps. Sure, we're going to see too many overtaking opportunities. We might go down the back a little bit because they are still dicing the position further down in the field. This is the battle for 26th, with Richie just in front of Hansen now and Jason Fewens next behind them. In fact, we've got a couple of Banter Alliance cars. We've got 3 Banter Alliance cars there with a Taipan eSports car mixed amongst them. So it's busy down that back end of the racetrack at the moment. Up the front for Velster with a 7/10 of a second lead. keeping an eye on him as Dino goes for a little bit of a move down the inside. Does he on Vanderkrant? He does. He gets it done. Bit of damage on Pete Vanderkrant's car as well for the Racecraft Angry Birds racing entry. He's copped a fair bit of damage on the front right of that car. Jeff Thomas being challenged here by Stuart Hall in the Nova Motorsports car, goes down the inside, gets alongside, now very close door-to-door action. And Stewie holding position at the moment. The JWM Motorsports driver late on the brakes around the outside once more. And we'll try and go with him. The 85 car of Jeff Thomas really putting on a good performance there, with John King being very watchful behind his teammate, and also Stuart Hall ready to pick up the scraps if these two get together. And he's got a nice little run through there. He's got to concentrate on the exit. No wheel spin onto the back straight. Try and carry some speed. Roll it through the apex. Apply the throttle. Don't go too wide on the ripple strip because you'll end up on the grass, and he gets away well. As we go back to our race leader. Almost a second, the gap once again between himself and Scott Gamble, who just sits in second place. John Latham sits in third place, continuing to just stay within 1.5 seconds. He won't want to lose touch with the leaders if possible. It needs to stay right on their tail throughout this first part of the race. Let's head across now and have a little bit of a look at some of our race cams for the first time tonight. So we'll start off up towards the pointy end of the field, in fact, with Scott McCune. No, where's Scott McCune gone? He's dropped down, hasn't he? So let's go up to we haven't got Jason Dixon tonight, but we'll go and have a look at who we've got. Jeff Thomas. So we'll start off with Jeff tonight, who's down in 22nd place at the moment. There he is. We'll jump on board with him. So he's currently chasing down Stuart Hall. He's still got his teammate behind him, Damien Cairns, who made a couple of spots up at the opening start of the race, then dropped 4 spots to put him back 2 from where he started. He is now falling back to 24th place. Interesting to hear the back end of the car just chirping as it got hard on the brakes there, lifted the back wheels up in the air slightly and struggling to get it pulled up cleanly. Jeff Thomas, just listen again under brakes this time. Much better that time. So just his application, working on it hard tonight, trying to get the car stopped as late and as great as possible. Of course, we showed a little bit of a shot before of Stewie, Michael Stewart, sorry, who's currently just watching his progress tonight. So next minute, McCune, his teammate, holding on to 12th place, and it's Michael Stewart's just dropped down to 34th, so it hasn't been the ideal start for him, dropping 10 spots and a bit by himself at the moment. 21 seconds adrift. He had to come into the pits on lap 1 for a 4-second splash and dash, so I'm not sure if he was involved in some sort of incident on the opening lap, maybe with Todd Duggan, who also dropped 14 spots, and Craig Friend was the other one that came off a bit worse for wear in that opening crash. Miles Bolton says, are these guys old enough to be your dad? No, I'm old enough to race in this series. Nice to see you, Miles. And Margaret saying, go Greg. He's doing very well once again. Sean's in here to see Gamble with the start. He did well off the start. Aaron Leopard, this should be a good race, Luke. I hope so. And hey, John Lee as well. Hello to everyone tuning in. It's an interesting circuit. I'm not sure if it's a favourite. Every time I come here, I say, is this a favourite for drivers? I always find it as a broadcaster circuit. It's very flat and plain and a little bit boring. I like the undulating circuits. We do see some good racing here. And the production I did for the Pro Series told that story to a T, with about 6 cars coming onto the final straight to have a really close finish at the end. But all in all, 300 kilometres tonight. We're praying for no safety cars. We're already 7.5 minutes in for lap 4 of 51. We're not going to see any action in the pits until around lap 15. Luke Collins says, long race here. Jamie McNutt will be one to watch on fuel strategy. McKnight's always one to watch on fuel strategy. And there is the Wave Runner Performance Synergy Sim Racing driver sitting in 9th place, up 1 position. So they've all moved up 1 in the top ranks. And Greg Favell, currently sitting in 3rd, has gone backwards. So Greg Favell's just gone off the track a little bit. Let's have a quick look and see what happened to Greg. watching the replay here. Let's see if he just made a mistake in the braking zone, snatched the rear. And did he go right off? No, he just kept it all together. That's how he lost the lead of the race. Greg Favell now back in third position. Gamble leads, Latham second. So the Logitech G Evolution Racing Team car now takes over the top honours and gets going. Eddie Metz in the house. Love this track. Please send a link to YouTube as Facebook has stopped. Or keeps stopping. I can do that. The reason I don't put the link to YouTube in the description anymore is because Facebook, as soon as you put a YouTube link in the description, Facebook decide to no longer let your fans see your post or your broadcast. As we love how they do that sort of thing. Anyway, let's see if I can just grab a link for you, and I'll send it over shortly. So YouTube link incoming. Back further in the pack, let's have a quick look here at Andrew Ritchie. Damien Cairns is in this little battle too. Let's pick up a bit of onboard race camera with Cairns. Oh, there's a bit of wheel-to-wheel bang in there as well. Cairns has got a bit of damage on, I think it's his right front as well. I wonder if that's from the wall or if that's from impact with another car. Just watch him.
Race control 307. Copy. Yeah, we're going to not holding brake. Rejoin lap bumper.
So a little wave there from Damien as he has his teammate tucked up behind him and in front. Richie in this train of cars is, I think it's Dave Kirby right at the front of it. It is the Fishy Motorsports driver. As then Visman next in the train. Jim Nicol, Pecky Performance car, running 24th. Richie Cairns, then Hansen right at the back. It is quite a bunch of cars getting down the back straight now. Just watch the way Damien Cairns attacks the final corner here at Sebring, sends it in hard, and then just works the wheel. Look at the way he's working it around that corner. Got the guns out, sun's out tonight, or sun's out, guns out, and he's got his teammate, Muddy Hansen, absolutely pouring on the pressure. Let's have a look at this from Hansen's perspective as we jump up on the roof, hamburger camera, and just backs off slightly. I reckon they're doing a bit of damage to their left fronts on that wall, that inside wall, turn one as well. But now, just on 11 minutes into this race, lap 6 of 51. Big swapper on the mid-corner there for Cairns. And his teammate almost tries to slip one down the inside on him. Once again, the back end complaining for Damien. Behind Marty Hansen, you can see it's the Banter Alliance, Jason Fewens. He's also ready to pick up the pieces, whilst Warren Davis has a shot now, and he's just gone down the inside on Hoffman. He gets it pulled up. Andrew Hoffman now drops back to 30th position. So there's a mega battle going on back here in the pack, which is great to watch. These drivers, look at this train of cars as they continue to sort themselves out before this first pit stop phase. Obviously, I think it was lap 6, was it the first time you can come in? No, sorry, lap 15. You want to try and stretch it out too if you can for this first stint. So Gamble once again out in front, 1.9 seconds. He's starting to streak away a little bit into the distance. Back further, Scott McCune, who has got a fantastic race setup. He's currently chasing down Brenton O'Brien, who qualified well tonight in 11th. He's stayed 11th, so he's got good pace. He's keeping on with that qualifying form, and he's keeping Scott McCune at bay for now. Scott right out to the grass there, right out to the fence as well, pushing to the limit. Let's ride on board here for a lap and crank up the sound. So, O'Brien just letting McCune through there. Not putting up too much of a fight. He's playing the long game tonight, Brenton. Happy just to follow at this stage of the race. Ahead of them, Greg Sharp under pressure from Jamie McKnight. Now, this is a stage of the race we don't tend to see a lot of overtakes. They just settle into a groove and some fuel saving. I'm going to stay on board here with Jamie and see if he is dipping the clutch now and then and just saving some precious fuel behind Sharp and Smart, who's just up the road as well. Teammate to Jamie, so a couple of Synergy Sim Racing drivers inside the top 10. At the moment we've got Evolution Racing Team leading Shadow Racing, 2 Taipan eSports cars as well, 3rd and 4th, followed by 5th place Frog Leap Juice Racing, XCM Jason Benson 6th, and a Synergy Sim Racing, Coda Sim Sports, Synergy Sim Racing, and the Privateer Sebastian Tixie to round out your top 10 tonight. McKnight just having a look this time down the inside, had to get out of that, almost got into the back of Greg Sharp, as Benz now getting the hurry up too from Christian Smart. So this is Jason Benz, who won series of season 8 from memory of this series. He's now out there pushing along nicely up 3 positions, but with a rear gunner hooked on his tail. Was that McKnight in the background having a shot? It was. That's Sharp. Sharp now on the inside. McKnight tries the outside run around and thinks better of it. Look at Sebastian Tixia as well. He's trying to pick up the pieces and he's ready for anything here. Gets a run onto the back straight. Double slipstream behind Sharp and McKnight. And let's see if he goes to the move down the end of this straightaway. It's a very hard place to send it because, oh, look, listen to that fuel saving. Big fuel saving moment there for Sebastian. So, master of clutch dipping. So lap 10 of 51, Scott Gamble leads by 3.5 seconds. He's peeling away into the distance. Not the usual close racing we see at the front of a V8 set race. This is dominance again. And Greg Favell, who had that little bit of an off track, was slotted back to 3rd. And his best lap time at the moment, 59.96, is the quickest lap of the race. So I think he's just really backed that pace off and happy at this stage just to follow behind John Latham. Will he be concerned about that gap at the front, 3.5 seconds? Maybe not. Over a long race like this one, 51 laps. you would probably suspect that he'll peel a bit of that back in the pit lane by fuel saving. So Tixie is still on the back end of Sharp and McKnight as well. And further back, Stephen Kennedy, Stuart Hall, Jeff Thomas still engaged in their little battle as well. That M1 motorsport car or M1 racing car of Steve Kennedy. Great livery. Oh, almost touches the back there of Chad Lewis, who I think made a slight mistake on corner entry and checked up. Just caught them all out slightly. Jeff Thomas on the back of this pack as well. Let's ride on board with him. The winner of the Racecraft rig through this series, which is a great prize. And a big shout out to Racecraft and John Lee over there at the factory, and incredible company over in Western Australia. If you need a good sim rig, definitely hit them up. They'll hook you up, and Greg has been driving super well since getting himself out of the plywood Plymouth. Not that he didn't drive well before, but doing a fantastic job again. 20th place in this series tonight. Round number 7 of the V8 vets here from Sebring. Doing a bit of fuel saving as well, so JWM car looking well, and his teammate just behind him too, not too far back off the pace either, about a 1/10 of a second slower in ultimate lap pace as we just watch Jeff getting closer and closer but not going for an overtake. Chad Weiger is someone who is being challenged by Matt van der Kraan, who's tucked in behind him. Mustang versus Mustang. This is for 15th place in the race. Andrew Ritchie having a dice here with Tim Nicol. Looks to the inside, no luck. Great to see these Banter Alliance cars fighting out there. This is 23rd position, and Jason Fewens, his teammate, is tail gunning for the moment. He's right behind him, and then you've got Warren Davis, who's a couple of cars back in the order, just behind the Taipan eSports car of Marty Hansen. He has another look, doesn't he? So Ritchie really applying the screws here to Tim Nicol over the space of these couple of laps. Ritchie at the moment up 11 spots into 23rd, 13 spots for Fewens as well. He's having a good run so far tonight. He seems to drop off sometimes a little bit later in the race, so he needs to keep his concentration levels up and push on. This is a great start for his event. We've had a couple of drivers pit already. Dave Kirby came in lap 7, I think, for damage, and also Can stopped on lap 9. Now they took a full tank of fuel on board, 30 seconds worth of fuel the stop, as Ritchie gets a much better exit. Will should go past the Peggy Performance car here, and does. So Tim Nicol goes back, and look at the teammate Fewens riding the bumper bar of Ritchie there to also get himself into another position higher, which he does. Goes to the inside. Good opportunistic move there by Fewens. He saw that, and they're probably on the radio talking to each other. Scott Campbell, who leads this one, the only driver out there with 0 incident points last round, so he's, what a great effort it was. And
Race control, can you check that, please?
so Tim Nicol not so happy with whatever just went on there. Let's have a quick look if we can pick that up. So was that to do with the pass there, Marty Hansen? Let's have a quick look at a replay. So this was the overtake, I think Hansen. Oh no, it was the one just in front, so you can just see up the road there. We might just back that up a little bit and see if we can get our cameras to get there. Oh, there it is. So it was a little bit of bump on the turn in. So Fewens turned in, Nichols went down the inside, and there was a contact. Lucky that both of them didn't end up in the fence there. Tim Nicol. We'll roll that back and have another look from his perspective. This is the onboard. Was there enough room there? Here we go. So this is the onboard. He took a very tight trajectory to the corner. He was never really going to send it in there, and there's the contact. So make a decision for yourself. I'm sure Race Control will have that sorted pretty quickly as well. Back to live, and we're looking right now at Sharp with McKnight all over the back of him, having a look to the inside now. Will he go down the inside? No. Or will he? On the mid-corner, he's got a good turn in there, Jamie McKnight. And now he's right on the rear bar. Oh, wow. He goes to the pits, so this is strategic. McKnight goes in, lap 13. He's going to go for the undercut here on Greg Sharp. Let's see if this pays off in a lap or so's time.
067, please readdress with car 23.
Roger, Roger.
So that's 067, car 23.
Sorry, Kim, I didn't think I
That's
saw you.
Tim Nicol and Fewens. So Fewens giving that position back now. So he's been told to redress, so he's going to have to do that pretty soon. There it is now. So the redress from Fewens runs wide through turn 1, gives the place back only just. And Nicol complains about the fact that the car's damaged as well. So redress position, that has been done. We've just seen that live on the screen. So good work, race control, to tighten that up quickly and get it all resolved. Greg Sharp still with Tixier behind him, Benz as well. We're going to watch this with intent now, because as McKnight come out with some clear track in front of him, he has come out with an 8-second buffer to the next car as we ride on board with him. So this will give Jamie a chance just to set some quality laps, and we'll keep an eye on the times that he's posting, because this may just get him ahead of Sharp, possibly even Jason Benz. There's not too much distance between them on the racetrack yet to stop. Jamie McKnight is the top driver of those who has had a proper stop. Michael Stewart stopping on the first lap to fix some damage, lost a lot of positions obviously, and is running an alternate strategy now. So round 7, no drivers have won 2 races this series, so it's been a nice little spread of the spoils. In the split 1 of the V8 veterans for season 12. Luke Collins says Favell with no damage. Wonder if he's using this chance to save some fuel. I think so. And oh, hello Siri, what did you find? About an old sawmill. Nothing to do with Jason Fewens, nothing to do with Luke Collins, nothing to do with whatever I was talking about. Quick one, Ben Anthony's going to come and race split 3, season 13. He's going to be the split 3 champion, he says. Well, we're looking forward to seeing that. Broadcast live on WKMP TV. So Tixier in the pits, Ben's in the pits too. Let's have a quick look at Greg Sharp. He's stayed out, hasn't he? So he now makes his way through about a third of the lap on lap 13. And I'm just seeing where McKnight is, just coming onto the pit straight now. Jason Benz still in the lane, Tixier as well, just I think exiting the lane. And has he got them both? He has. So McKnight, Jason Benz now put behind, Tixier put behind. That's a good little effort up to 24th. And he took a second less fuel, and I think Jason Benz actually fueled that up 38 seconds. So Jason Benz with about an extra 3 seconds worth of fuel putting the car at that stop. Let's see if that pays dividends later on in the race, which it probably will. So far, the top 21 yet to put it into the pit lane. Gamble with a 5-second lead out in front. Oh my goodness, he's flying tonight. Be hard to catch from there, Scotty Gamble, as those rear brakes glow red hot and the front brakes stay nice and cool. iRacing, when are you going to fix that? Oh my God, there you go into the pits though. Gamble's in. This is his first pit stop. They follow him in, Favell, Latham, Dixon, all coming in at lap 15, which we expected. It's right on the edge of that first fuel amount you can carry in the car. They're restricted, and then they get a little bit more of an opening once they do go into pit. So they get 70 litres for that first part of the race, and then the first stop they then get an increased fuel capacity of 90%, which gives them around 21 laps as opposed to 15 laps. Right, so Gamble in the pits. Where is our pit stop crew? They're just coming down, I think, through the final. They're coming onto the back straight, so they're a fair way away. This will give us an indication of the field spread between our effective race leader Scott Gamble and Jamie McKnight, who's on a bit of a mission here moving forward. Sebastian Tixier, the privateer, has gone with him since the pit stop, putting some challenge on too. Look at the run he had through that corner. That was great. Can he get it turned and not run out into the grass? He does. So that was a really good run through the final corner. Meanwhile, where is the man that was leading the race before? He's come out again and he's in 12th place. So Scott Gamble just up the road clears and easily gets in front of those that have just tried to undercut him. Greg Favell moves up a position now. He's into 13th, so he's effectively P2 in this race once everyone else has stopped. The remainder of the cars into the pits now. Nishki's in, O'Brien's in, Chrisdale, Van der Kraan, Lewis, Hall, Weiger, Ritchie and Fewans all in the pit lane. What about Peter Van der Kraan? He's going to carry on for another lap. That is because he hasn't stopped already, so he's somehow got a miraculous amount of fuel on board to be able to do lap 16 now. Gamble goes through. Now it's not a very big margin back to Jamie McKnight. We're just going to get more of an indication of that now that we've had these stops all taken place. The Gamble goes through. The gap back to McKnight, 8.4 seconds at this stage. Greg Favell's within 4.5, so he lost about half a second. Gamble in that pit stop, which isn't a lot really considering the lead he's got. Pretty convincing lead right now. Favell got back in front of Latham as well, and Jason Dixon just hovering back in 5th place, which is on paper 5th, but ultimately will become 4th place shortly. Previous winners here, season 3, Kenneth Ladder, and then it was Stephen Varga that won season 5. Jamie McKnight was your winner on season 7. So we've had 3 different winners, one of which is still with us. The other one is having a break, and the other one I've never heard of. So there you go. So we're a couple of laps now beyond all the pit stops to have a look at the pit strategy. And there's your top 25. Let's just back that back to the top Let's go top 10 tonight. And you can see it's pretty even. Nishiki got it out to 15 laps. Everyone else up above him, 14 laps for Gamble, Favell, Latham and Dixon. McKnight 12 laps, so he went for that alternate strategy. He did leapfrog him about 3 positions. He was running in 9th before coming into the pits, so he would love to clear Nishiki if he could. You would think to then get up into the top 5. And obviously he was good at playing the long game tonight. We're only on lap 17 of 51. 35 minutes into this race now. No safety cars. Yeah, it's been a pretty clear race as far as incidents go. But pit strategy is going to be a huge aspect of this tonight. Stephen Kennedy still attacks Rob Crisdale as well, who sits in 12th place, 13th place for Kennedy. Both drivers have made good gains in this race so far. 7 for Crisdale, 5 for Kennedy. And someone who's made some good gains as well, John King, 11 spots. Jeff Thomas, both JWM cars, batting way above their weight here. They're 10 up into 16th and 11 up into 17th. Stuart Hall for Nova Motorsport, who's next in that queue, also up 7 spots. And Dave Kirby, we should give him a shout out in the Fishy Motorsport car. He drove very well in the in that car so far tonight. He's made up 8 spots into 15th, so top 15 running for him at this stage of the race. So Scott Gamble out in front, 4 seconds. The margin looks in pretty control. He's, as I said last week, new back to sim racing. It's been a while, and he's now really found his form. And I'm not sure what it was, just practice or getting a bit of time to find his feet again. But he's looking very, very hard to stop or even run pace with. I'm looking at the best lap times. Favell still with the top lap time of 1:59.96, but it's the consistency I'm seeing from Scott Gamble, which is absolutely incredible. Let's have a look at those previous lap times. You can see a 108, sorry, a 201 and a 208, 255. They were the in lap and the out lap. Since the pit stop, he's done a 2-minute flat .934, a 2-minute flat .930. So absolute consistency on display from Scott Gamble. We'll keep an eye on those lap times, no doubt. He's going to do another one right now, another 2-minute flat lap, just to continue to eke out that lead. Big Barry in the house. Hello, Big Barry. So going to be joined just by Luke Holland, who's coming in for a quick chat and does a lot of the behind the scenes, making this series run well. And Luke, welcome, man. How you doing tonight? Have I got you there?
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Got you loud and clear now. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. How you been?
Good. Just enjoying this race. It's, Scott Gamble walking away from the field. Do we expect this sort of speed from him at Sebring? He's looking like a Sebring specialist.
Yeah, look, I've been in a couple of the practice sessions myself, and he's been pretty quick in all of them. I think he likes the nature of the track. It's quite flat. It plays to his strengths, but he has done a lot of practice, so I was expecting to see him up, right up the pointy end.
And what's going on in the world of V8 vets, mate? We got obviously round 7. The points in the championship are still alive.
Yeah, look, I think you mentioned before, there's only been 2 victories out of the top 20 in the championship, so it goes to show that consistency with these guys is more important than just outright victories. You've got guys like Jason Dixon. He's only had 1 win, and he's even had a P2, I think, but that alone isn't enough. It drops him down to P14. So there's quite a mix, and I think that even at this stage of the championship, I think there could be some upsets, and I think anyone can do well from here that's in the top half of the championship. So
very good. Yeah, we're 40 minutes in. It's 20 laps in already. We're only going to see 2 stops tonight. McKnight's just sort of hovering in the background there. He's up 4 spots. His little undercut strategy working well so far.
Look, it is, and he's renowned for being able to fuel save, and his strategy is usually on point. If you were a person who wasn't confident with your strategy, and you could do a little bit of fuel saving, you'd be crazy not to follow his, I think.
Yeah, he's just running around in. I'm just having a look at the lap time. So 2:01.1 was his last lap around, which was similar to the leaders' pace. John Latham at the moment in P3, just a little bit quicker than the 2 drivers in front of him, but I guess, what you can do over 1 lap, but it has to be consistent, doesn't it? You have to be able to do it lap in, lap out around a track like this. And if there's a variance of a second up and down, then you're not really going to move your way forward. Yeah,
that's right. And those guys that are in the top 5 and the top 10, they're the guys that are, they may not even be the fastest, but they're definitely the most consistent, barring you guys like, Latham, Favela and Gamble. Yes, they're quick, but you saw before within a couple of hundredths of a second every lap is really where it's at. And
you can't make any mistakes. We saw right at the start of the race, Greg Favell, as we just see Nitschke make a move here on Jason Dixon and almost make it work in the background. Tixier has been really challenging McKnight lap after lap too. Dixon's still having a go, and he's got through now, so that was good door-to-door racing. But what I was saying is you can't make mistakes. Greg Favell made that mistake early on in the race, which pushed him back a few spots, so running wide after getting a relatively good start, not getting any wheel slip and pushing away to a bit of a lead at the start. But McKnight now having a look down the inside and out of control. There's a bit of contact there. I think Nitschke just snatched a brake, and that's caused a bit of contact. Now, has that done damage to McKnight, who gets hit again? We're going to hear a blow up here, I reckon. McKnight's off the track. And
race control, can you look at that?
Looks like Bent's might be in the fence.
Yeah, Bent's in the fence. It could be a safety car too.
Yeah, while you're looking at it tonight, so...
Doesn't look like he can get that started.
No.
Is that you, Joe? Yeah, mate, I'm done with this shit.
Oh, so Bent's is done.
Hold there, please, 100.
Could have our safety car here. We'll go and have a look at a replay. So Nitschke snatched the brake on the way into the corner as we go to a full course caution. So just have a look at this from this angle. You'll see he had McKnight coming at him, and then he snatched the brake on the braking zone there, which got him out of shape. He went across. Now something happens from then on in. We'll see if we can pick up Bent's. He then has a run. Tried to go up the inside of McKnight. Not really sure it was on there. We'll back that up and have a have a little look. What do you reckon?
I think he might have been a little bit too enthusiastic coming out of the hairpin there. Obviously, Jamie's slowed up a little bit, having had that contact with Nitschke in the braking zone, and he's seen an opportunity. It may have been a little bit enthusiastic, but might have paid the price, unfortunately.
Yeah, so both drivers, one of them out of the race, the other one with a fair bit of damage. McKnight's come in to stop, take on some fuel, full course caution. So,
turn 3.
Look, it's a shame for Bent's too. Bent's, I think he won the round at Fuji, round 3, and he's shown a lot of pace recently too. But again, when you go back to talking about mistakes, that's not just pinching brakes and misjudging corners. It's perhaps taken an opportunity that wasn't really there. That's what you see. You guys that are really consistent. They know when they can and when they can't fit in that gap and pick their battles.
Yeah, so we're under caution here. A few drivers choosing to pit, but obviously it's too far to bring it home, so that all they're doing is shortening up that final stop by taking a full tank of fuel now, maybe a set of tyres as well. But this will change the strategy a bit, because you got the likes of, it's basically the top 10, Gamble, Favell, Latham. They didn't stop. And then you're going to have the guys from Jamie McKnight down that have taken that second pit stop. They'll be on the back of the top 10. And it means they'll be able to shorten up that final pit stop by probably, 10, 15 seconds less fuel.
Car 100, you're free to tow.
I don't know if that's going to negate any losses they're going to make now. But it's an interesting strategy. I'm not sure I'd have taken a pit stop now. But I think that might depend on your position in the race too. If you're in the back half of the field, it could be a good chance to get in and still not drop a lap.
Well, McKnight had damage, so maybe he's gone in to fix the damage, and everyone else just followed him, thinking, "Well, that's the strategy."
I think he may have been forced to go in there, because I think the first contact with Nitschke was probably okay, but after being on the grass with Benson earlier, missing the tyre wall himself, I think he would have been carrying a bit of damage that wouldn't have been good for his fuel saving strategy either.
What it does do is make Scotty Gamble's lead of 4 seconds or so disappear completely now.
That's going to play very well into Greg's hands, because he was having to do a lot of work and to try to bridge that gap when he did get past Latham. So I think now he may have the chance, if he can stay in the tow, is to try to keep, really take care of those tyres. I'm not sure we'll see him try to make a move on Gamble this stint. Maybe if it was me, I think I'd probably just try to stick it out, save that bit of extra fuel, and jump him in the pit stop, because he has got a lot of pace, and he'll do those consistent laps, but still look after his tyres, Gamble. But Greg's a big boy. I'm sure he'll sort it out.
Yeah, well, Favell, the only driver to dip into the sub 2 minute lap times at the moment, are 1:59.9. Everyone else above that, so he's definitely got the lap speed there, and like you said, he may just sit back, save fuel, and then in the last 5 laps of the race show us what he's really got.
Yep, and he has been a consistent top performer. I think we're going to see some pretty good racing in this next couple of laps. We might see quite a few position changes, maybe especially in the mid pack, because people are going to be fighting for where they think they should be. These front guys here, I think, are probably going to be a little bit more settled in their positions and try to work their strategies out.
Who's in the safety car tonight? They're driving very nicely out there. Dave Coleman? No, it's not Dave.
I think that is Dave Coleman, unless Mr. Varga and Dave have done a switch. Not sure, actually.
Yeah, it is Dave, so he's doing a nice job out there, keeping it nice and smooth. He'll hopefully...
Safety car will complete one more lap.
There you go, one more lap for the safety car. I was just about to say that. Hopefully it's just one more lap, and we'll get back to full green racing here, lap 23. So into lap 24, it'll be almost half race distance. As it's still a long way to go.
Yeah, it's getting close there. I might see if we can bring up one of the other guys and have a chat just for a half a lap in this safety car period.
Yeah, go for it, yep. So on a full course caution, lap 23.51. Luke Holland jumping in for a chat there. Is Cameron Beacock doing the safety car? No, not tonight. He's very famously crashed the safety car here at Sebring many moons ago. Luke's back.
We've got Greg Favell here.
Cool. Welcome, Greg. P2, mate, sitting in behind Scotty Gamble. What's the plan on the restart?
Just try not to make another mistake. Save tyres.
Yeah, we're saying your outright lap speed pretty good, mate. You're the only driver to dip into the sub 2 minutes at the moment. You're holding back a bit throughout this race?
I'm honestly just struggling a bit with torn tendon in my elbow, so I'm just hoping to get through the race.
and all good for fuel. Obviously, you'll make one more stop.
Yeah, one more stop. We ummed and ahed about pitting under the safety car, but I think track position's more important at this stage, so...
Any concern with those that did? You've got McKnight in 11th. He did take on a full tank of fuel.
Oh, not at this stage. We'll see how we go. We'll just save as much as we can now and, yeah, see what we can do so we can get that buffer we need.
And obviously, Gamble, he pulled out a 4-second margin prior to the safety car. Are you going to try and stick with him this time?
Yeah, that little battle I had with John Latham, although it was good, it didn't help that. Let Scott get away a bit, so
Yep.
yeah, try and stay with him and save some fuel.
Any questions, Luke?
How are the other boys going with their tyres and their fuel strategy?
You will be free to accelerate when you want to.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm just trying to concentrate and staying on track at the moment, so...
Yeah, we'll let you get ready to go racing, mate, because you just got the back straightaway to go. So good luck, and hopefully speak to you then.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. Good to have you back.
Cheers, mate.
Good luck, mate.
Thanks.
Get you, Luke, to... or Greg's gone himself, so he's organising his own Discord. That's pretty good. Pretty handy while you're driving.
That's it.
All right, so safety car coming in the end of this lap. We'll get back to green flag racing. You can just hear the Porsche disappearing into the distance now, driven by Dave Coleman. So he's, once again, big thanks to all the crew in behind the scenes. And we've still got we lost Jason Bentz now, so he's not coming back for any more. But we've still got 34 cars in this race tonight.
Yeah, and this, I think, as I said before, I think the mid-pack is going to be, we're going to see some action in this first couple of laps. The guys up front, I think, are going to be pretty sensible about trying to keep their position and play into their strategy. It's good seeing guys like McKnight having done 2 stops and he's still only in P11 there, so that's really going to be interesting, you know, given that he is not going to need much fuel coming into that last stop. So I think we can expect to see him jump quite a few positions in that next pit stop.
Yeah, so he took 19 seconds worth of fuel for his second stop. He'll probably have to take that amount again. What is it, around lap 35 I think was the critical lap to bring it home. Maybe a bit less than that, in fact. Get some numbers. Right, let's get going again. We're back to green flag racing. Scott Gamble jumps away. He gets the starter's orders, which he's done very well. About 0.4 of a second the gap as they head across the line. Now, as Greg alluded to, he doesn't want to be building up here with John Latham. He wants to try and stick away from John, because the more they battle, the more it hurts his ability to hold on to the back of Gamblers. I think that was Dixon running wide, Tix here as well, running a little bit wide out into the dirt. It's Christian Smart been like a dog with a bone tonight on the back of these guys, and once again almost makes some contact with Sebastian's car. But yeah, good restart all in all, pretty smooth. McKnight stayed 11th, didn't make up any spots. Marty Hansen's up 20 into the top 10, so he's pushed along really well tonight.
Yeah, Marty's done well. I know he's said he's trying to get a decent amount of practice in this week, so he'd be pretty happy with that. And I know he's mentioned in a couple of the Discord channels that he likes Sebring, which seems to be against, you know, bucking the trend a little bit, because a lot of the guys don't like this track for the supercar. So you know, that's, you know, you can see that's playing into his hands there too.
Yeah, we're just looking. There's Brenton O'Brien back in 18th place. Chad Lewis behind him. A couple of Evolution cars, in fact. Dan Hall, so there's 3 of them running line of stern there from 18th, 19th and 20th. Dan Hall running that alternate livery for Evolution Racing Team. Then it's Steve Kennedy, John King, a couple of JWM cars running a line of stern. The Fishy Motorsports car of Dave Kirby, 24th. Tim Nicol, 25th. Craig Friend, Richie and Doug in your top 28. But back at the front, this man for Logitech G, Evolution Racing Team, stronger and stronger. He pulls a 0.7 of a second gap on this restart. In the background, the train follows. It's a big train of cars too.
We can see that's pretty good. He's actually pulled a fairly decent gap even on that back straightaway there. So it's got a very good run out of that second last corner. It's probably what he needs to just put a bit of pressure on Greg and force him to do all the hard work to keep up with him.
I was surprised to hear Greg almost saying, you know, he was just having trouble staying on the track tonight. I wonder if it's a bit slippery out there. Obviously, it's cool temperatures. It's standard V8 vets, you know, 20 degrees out there, so it should feel pretty grippy.
Yeah, look, I think because the track is so flat, you don't really have any camber to play with. You really are relying on that mechanical grip. And the guys are having to really be careful of their throttle application as they're coming out of some of these corners. You saw where Greg went off the track there at Tower at turn 13. All he did was just clip the corner enough, and he unsettled the car and just skipped straight across the track onto the grass. And the nature of the track is what makes this so difficult. Difficult to drive, just being so flat.
Yeah, McKnight's made up a position to 10th now, and he's just having a little nibble at the back of Chad Viger in 9th place. Chad's had a pretty good run tonight, up 8 spots into 9th. And Stuart Hall is one I want to mention too, because 18 positions up into the top 7. He's cruising along very, very well. John Latham's just gone off, by the way. Dixon's gone through, so Latham running wide across the grass at some point there.
That might have been roughly the same spot as what Favell went off early in the race. So,
yeah, I think you're right there. So, Deborah's in the house, still watching Greg, and he's doing very well, P2. And this time he hasn't let Gamble get away, and what he has done is broken that gap between himself and Dixon and Latham. So, he can just concentrate on staying underneath that huge rear wing of the Holden Commodore, and stick with Gamble here now in a 2-horse race at the end. Who would you back over a 4-lap stint to bring it home here at Sebring? Would you back Greg Favell with that little bit of extra lap speed that he's got?
Look, I think that as fast as Greg is, Scott really he's got a grip on the race at the moment, and I think that being track position is going to be key here. I think that even with having him right under the back wing, I believe that if you've got the track position, you've got the control, you can pick and choose your line, and you can force the car behind to use their tyres and put the pressure on them. So I'm a bit of a Taipan fan, but I'd have to back Gamble in this case, I think.
Yep, yeah, he'll get the elbows right out, which he's having to do already now. So the gap's just come down to 3/10. Gamble under a bit of pressure for really the first time since taking the lead of the race, and it's one of those long races where you've got to, to sustain that pressure. It starts to compound after a while, and you'll just need to, I guess, make sure he's taking that opportunity down the back straight and also the front straight here as well, just to relax and take a bit of water on board and take a drink, breath of fresh air, because we're going to see probably over 2 hours of racing tonight, and he might spend the next hour of that with the elbows out trying to defend position.
Yeah, look, he won't be a stranger to having someone right up in his mirrors, but it does get to you after a while when you're trying to concentrate and hit your markers, and you've got someone there harassing you, and especially someone with the pace of Favell, then that can take its toll. So I think for Scott, it'll be about trying to focus on looking ahead, hitting his brake markers, and I think for Favell it's going to be a matter of sticking with him and just trying to menace him as much as he can.
Been impressed with Brenton coming into this. Brenton Nitschke is the Frog Leap Juice racing car. He's dropped a few positions tonight, obviously taking that second pit stop, but throughout this season he's just been quick and good to watch. So he's in 13th now. I expect to see him jump up when that second pit stop happens for the lead drivers, which should be coming up soonish, I think. At maybe lap 34, lap 35.
Yeah, look, and Nitschke is coming 5th in the championship at the moment. He hasn't had a win, but he has had 4 top 10 finishes out of the 6 previous rounds. So that's where that consistency is paid dividends for him, being right on the heels of Michael Stewart P4.
Yeah, and lap 30 is the critical lap according to Chad, or Rick Varga, sorry. So we're not far off that. Now from lap 30 you can fuel it up and bring it home. I got to wonder if someone like Jamie, who's in this little train of cars, might even try that. Just come in at lap 30, put that short amount of fuel in, and then just run at it and maybe hope to pop out in a bit of a gap, because there are some gaps opening up. If you look back 30 seconds or so from where he is now, you would get some clear running in. But this is where the strategy is all so confusing, and these guys have got to try and work it out on the fly.
Yeah, and when you throw a safety car into the mix, it's guys like McKnight they're the ones that get it right time in, like over and over, and that's where he stands to gain a lot of positions. I think that if he hits that critical lap, there's a chance that we might see him maybe wait a couple while the car's in front of him while they dive into the pits. I think he's most likely going to do the extra couple of laps, figure out where he's going to end up on track, and then fill up to the end of the race after that.
Yeah, right. So we're just watching a few battles back here in the pack too for the lower order, and they have their own little scraps going on. That's Favel, who's been fighting with Cairns and Visma further forward. I'm just trying to see where Tim Nicol is after his little incident earlier on. He's in 24th now. And, well, it's sad to see Ben's out of the race, isn't it? I was just thinking then, it's just one extra driver we're not going to see challenging for what will be a good finish to tonight's event, because we've still got a strong top 10, but it would have been great to see Ben's right up there as well.
Yeah, and that's going to hurt Ben's too. If you consider his victory at Fuji, it's P25 in the championship, so a DNF here is going to be, it's not going to work well for him. Probably already wanting to drop a couple of rounds the way it's going. So.
Yep, Craig Friend there wagging the tail. One of my favourite liveries is Craig Friend's Old Mate and Son's car. Looks fantastic, and probably not doing his tyres any justice there, but anyway, he's having fun, no doubt.
Yeah, lighting up the rears here is not a good way to get yourself drive out of the corners, that's for sure.
Now, what's the go with these rear brake, red hot brakes and nothing on the front? Is this an iRacing thing that someone's mentioned to them, or?
I honestly don't know, but they're glowing, red. They're getting pretty hot. But when I see a lot of the guys here, running a pretty forward brake bias, so they're, especially on this kind of track, they're dialing it right forward. They're braking hard in a straight line, but yet we're obviously still seeing the rear rotors lighting up. So not really sure.
But it's I harp on it about it a lot, because to me it's an iRacing thing that they graphically surely they need to fix, because I'm just trying to bring up some real world pictures of supercars. I mean, obviously you see pictures of genuine supercars, they quite often have the front lit just as much as the back when they're out on the racetrack. So is there anything I'm missing here with V8 supercars that iRacing haven't addressed this?
Look, I don't think so. I mean, I look at it this way: if you are wanting to, stop your car in a hurry, you want your front and your rear brakes to be pulling you up. Just having the rear or just having the back, with a complete imbalance doesn't really seem practical. It seems like you're just going to put more heat and wear into those tyres. And the most effective you can be is when you're braking with the most amount of force distributed evenly across the car, or for that matter, wherever the weight is on the car. So I don't think it's. I think it would have to be just graphical, because if the rears only were applying the most braking force, then you'd see a lot more cars facing the wrong way.
Yeah, which brings me to my ongoing point where I just think I wonder why iRacing haven't decided to approach that, and just, even if it was graphically, just to put as a shot of a Ferrari, obviously the front brake's red hot, and you do use a lot of front brake force. I was wondering if it was a compound thing they use in V8 supercars on the front, or it's literally just an iRacing boo-boo.
Yeah, I tend to think it's just inaccuracy on iRacing's behalf.
And I finally found the picture I was actually looking for. Let me just quickly bring this up on the screen. So this is a shot of an actual. Oh, it keeps bringing up the video. I'm going to try and just get the image if I can. Here's a shot of a V-Power V8 supercar, and there you go. Clearly, front rotors are red hot, and the rears just glowing slightly. So,
I mean, it stands to reason that when you hit the brakes hard, most of the force, most of the weight of the car transfers to those front two tyres, and at that point, that's where you're going to be doing a lot of your braking.
There you go. So maybe someone could take a clip of this and send it to iRacing, and there was a good example then as Scott Gamble went through the final corner here at Sebring, and you could see glowing red hot rear discs on that car, nothing at the front. And there's a picture down below showing what it should look like. So there you go. my little rant is done. Thanks to everyone for listening.
See that Favel's really closed up that gap, and he's sticking right with Gamble there.
He is. He's
2.3 of a second.
And they've pulled a second off Dixon as well. So, yeah, this is good for Greg, no doubt. And I'm looking at John Latham. He's dropped back into 5th now, so he's just going a little bit backwards. Christian Smart even about to possibly pounce and moving back another spot. Smart looks dummies to the inside and thinks better of it. So McKnight's up into 9th, so he's gone up another position. He's having a look at Vanderkran now, who he does go down the inside. Matt opens the door right open, and so that puts Vanderkran and Greg Sharp now back behind him. So Jamie P8, you know, he's got 2 stops in the bag. Sorry, he's the top driver to have made 2 stops as we look at the pit strategy board there. And Greg Sharp, the other one that's with him, who's also made 2 stops. So it's fascinating. This could be the little key, fascination we look for at the end of the race, because where he ends up and what the difference is with the pit stop, I'm not sure. It could be the difference between 30 seconds and a 15-second pit stop between the top guys and McKnight. Now, if that's the case, if it's that much, that's a pretty good, he's in a good position with a 10-second deficit to the leader.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's also obviously on potentially a lighter fuel load with fresher boots than a lot of the guys in front of him. So that's why he's been able to make those positions now, and he can capitalise again on the next pit cycle.
Yeah, and then
it might be twofold.
Yeah, they're moving around the background. That's Tixia, like a Formula V, weaving his way down the back straight, trying to break the toe from Latham and Smart. And outside the top 10, Chad Viger. Now, is there contact there? No, there's not. Hansen just slid down the inside and moves himself up to 11th. And he's up 19 spots, Marty Hansen.
Hello, Jamie, were you calling a safety car before?
Great drive. So McKnight's just gone back to 8th then, and sorry, he was in 8th, wasn't he? Or has he just lost another position? No, he was in 8th. I just confused myself. Yeah, there's just a bit of banter there about calling a safety car. Did you hear that?
No, I couldn't hear that. No.
No, that came through from Race Control Channel, so maybe I think we're all good. Nothing's happened right now. Everyone's still on the racetrack. No one's stationary.
Safety car seems to be empty in pit lane, so might stay green flag for now.
That's what we want. So, yeah, McKnight's all good. He's just sitting in 8th. Stuart Hall in front of him is 18 spots up into the top 7 now.
All good, man. All good.
So, yeah, good drive by this man too, Nova Motorsports. It's sad we're not seeing Duggan out there in this livery with the blue highlights. It was always good to see him up the front.
Yeah, I think he's in helping the guys in race control tonight.
He is, yeah. Vanderkran's gone off, by the way. I just saw a car dropping down the order. So the Racecraft Angry Birds car's off in the grass, now rejoins, drops outside the top 24. So he's just had a spin. I might see if I can pick up a replay for him, see if it was an all by himself crash. Here it is, the replay now. I'm going to go with snatching the rear brakes, or did the Taipan car come down the inside? No, he got in there deep, way deep in fact. He had to go up the escape road and loop it round. So that's what happened to Matty there. Nothing too bad there. Just got it all wrong under brakes.
Easy to do, very easy to do. You can see John King, I've actually just spotted him in the background, just past Kennedy, who's gone off the track on the last corner. He's gonna, it's like Steve Kennedy might even lose a spot to Craig Friend here coming through that last
Gets
turn.
him out. Yeah, easy overtake. So he's just lost all that momentum. The M1 racing car, now he comes into the pits too. So maybe an issue. Maybe just wants to get his stop done now that he had that little bit of a moment. Get some fresh boots on the car to run it through to the end. We are beyond that critical lap 30 now. So anytime any of these drivers can come in, fuel it up to the brim of the car, and then they can bring it home and not have to stop again. For me, when I used to do a fair bit of this racing, it was always get that stop done, and that's one less stress to think about.
Yeah, and the guys will be trying to weigh that up against how long they want to spend on a set of tyres. That's a big thing too. You know, the tyre drop off here is relatively quick. It seems to plateau after additional 5 or 6 laps, but those first 2 to 3 laps are really where you get the massive benefit of having those tyres. So where you come out and how much fuel you have on board at the time is going to be a big part of how they've planned out that last stop. And just looking at the pit lane, the stop times for fuel in the first pit cycle, and you can see the top three, Gamble, Pavel and Dixon, all having 39.7, 39.9, 39.5 second fuel refill times there. So it's going to be interesting to see who saved the most and who can short stop that next stop and roll the dice against how much fuel they put in.
Yep, it's yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Gamble's really being pressured again by Favel, so 0.2 of a second as Christian Smart also
Go through, Britton.
puts the pressure on Latham. I expect maybe you'd think Greg, this would be a good time for him to maybe think about an undercut, because what this is doing, it's bringing Dixon closer onto the back of Favel, which is one thing he doesn't want. He said it before about racing with John Latham. He didn't want to be engaged by that car behind because it ends up hurting him with the battle with the race leader, which is the critical thing he needs to try and attend to. So you would think, I mean, if I was in his boost now, I would think undercut. I would go into the pits. You've got, what, just on 18 laps to go in the race. He's got a little bit more lap speed, and just get that track position back again.
Yeah, as we said before, the track position is key, and it's easy to make your car very wide, and that's going to be what I think he needs to do. If you look, Jason Dixon there, he's caught up by almost a second, so and he's in fact he's right in the draft now. He's got a really good chance of pulling in right up close to these guys. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Taipan guys are here talking about synchronising their strategy and both pulling in at the same time and trying to get that undercut on Gamble.
Yeah, big rear slide there for Favel. I wouldn't be surprised if, I mean, it's his teammate in front, but Dixon's not shy of putting in a big move as well.
Look, and he's a fairly well-seasoned driver too. He'll see if there's an opportunity there and the door opens, he'll definitely take it. He won't pull any punches, these two, but both pretty fair and pretty clean races. Greg Favel and Dixon, Gamble for that matter, so he'll be aiming to try to really use that draft here and close the gap.
Fascinating. Latham's off the track again, so John in the background just went for a big moment off the grass. Didn't hit anything, but has really just dropped off a cliff, hasn't he, at this this stage of the race, lap 33 of 51. And let's see if he comes in the pits. Those tyres for him might be shot. But yeah, he just lost a stack of time. And Greg Favel, look at that, in the pits. Maybe he's listening. He's come in now for his stop, and Dixon moves up. Tixier and Smart move up as well. But this is going to be a critical moment now for Scott Gamble. Does he stay out, or does he try and cover off this undercut?
I think if he's, I think his best bet might be to try to minimise the undercut here and come in straight away.
No, in about a minute and a half's time. So they're lapping the 201, so that the lap speed is sort of dropped off by about a second a lap to what they can do. Greg Favel, I'm just watching where he's going to actually come out here. He's dropping down the list, and what he'll be hoping for is he doesn't come out behind a train of cars. It's a long stop, 29 seconds for his second stop, so I guess that's about on par, but it seems like forever at a track like this if you're in the pit lane for just on a minute it was, so 30 seconds or 29 seconds stationary, but a minute to transit the pit lane, a minute and 1 second in fact, so
you're watching 22 cars whiz past,
yeah,
and a bit nervous, I think.
Yeah, it puts him back to 24th place, and what he has got, he's got a nice little, he's come out just ahead of Peter van der Kraan, and he's got 14 seconds of clear air up the road, so that is perfect for that undercut we're speaking about. If he can now just, for the next 3-4 laps, push and hope, for him probably hope that Scott stays out there, because Gamble is actually coming up on some lap cars. Oh no, he's not, he's got a 36-second buffer, so we're all good.
Yeah, I think Favel is really going to have to pull out those fast laps. Obviously, having the fastest lap of the race so far, that's what he needs right now. He really needs this to be a good second faster than Gamble's last lap.
Let's see if Gamble comes in, because he's just coming through the final corner now, and he's reacting straight into the pits, and here we go.
Yeah,
Game on for these two. Yeah, Dixon's coming in as well. Tixier stays out. Smart stays out. Latham's come in. So those top drivers, Stuart Hall in as well. Let's see if McKnight reacts. So he'll just go for track position. So he goes through. Those drivers that took the second stop under caution have continued on. Now, I wonder if they're hoping for a safety car now for this next stint of the race, because that may play into their favour if they've now offset their strategy to these top guys. But let's keep an eye on this. Gamble in the lane. Where is Greg Favell? This is going to be tight. Just coming down the back straight, Favell. We'll keep an eye on that. Obviously, pit time for Gamble. He's currently 19 seconds stationary. What you'd expect him for another 10 seconds to be stationary. So, and what did Greg Favell do? He did a 2:08 out lap. I think that's pretty decent. Let's see what this flying lap is as he comes down the pit straight. Now, Gamble has just dropped off the jacks. And where is he? I think he's got him, you know. Goes down through turn one, and he has. So Favell to the lead of the race by a good second and a half. He did well, the outlap time when there was a 2:43 for Greg Favell. Obviously that includes the pit stop, but yeah, he did enough in the end. So look at that.
And you can see there that it looks like Gamble's taken an extra second's worth of fuel, so that might have been the result of following him so closely for those laps since the safety car.
Yep. Dixon took a heap of fuel as well, took nearly 33 seconds and dropped 7 seconds off what's effectively the lead of the race, even though we're looking at 16th, 17th and 18th. These are the top three drivers, but at the moment let's give Sebastian a little bit of airtime, leading this V8 Vets race. It's round 7 of this season 12 championship, and he's got a little margin here of half a second over Christian Smart, who's just been a silent assassin. Has Christian run a race in this series? I don't think he has yet in this season. He has.
I think he has. I'm just looking back through some statistics now.
They're pitting, so we've got Tixier in the pits, Smart in the pits as well. McKnight will lead the race, so there you go. After all that, it's all flung around, and this man who's won the championship for the V8 Vets 8 times, People's Champion, as he's fondly known as, the 027, is now leading this race on lap 36. So who would have thought? It's all swung around, and these are the two stoppers that came in during the caution. So we've got McKnight, Nishiki, McCune, Crisdale and O'Brien. All 5 of those drivers came in under caution, and it seems to at this stage at least given them a bit of airtime up the front. Whether or not it pans out, they will have to stop again. And the gap back to Favell is 36 seconds. So what are we thinking? Transit time here is around probably, I don't know, 30 or so seconds anyway, isn't it? Minimum, even if you take 5-10 seconds worth of fuel.
Yeah, so you're looking at about the 30-second mark. So at the pit lane transit time of 50 seconds for Jamie McKnight, including his 19 seconds on the jack. So.
Yeah. So we'll see how that pans out. Jason Fewens is giving Brenton O'Brien a little bit of hurry up as well as he takes one of our little witches hats with him. He's right underneath that True Force Logitech big wing on the back of O'Brien's Holden Commodore. We've got 2 Mustangs leading the race, 5 Commodores then next in a row, and then 5 Fords after that to make up your top 12. Todd Duggan at the moment on the back of the top 12 in the Nova Motorsports entry, with Mark in race control, of course. So there's still 2 Duggans out there, 1 on the track, 1 in race control. It's good to hear Mark's voice still.
I think with 15 laps to go, the only people who haven't pitted a single stop so far is Jason Fewens, Matt Vanderkran. There's no one else that hasn't already done their 2 stops.
Back further in the pack, Marty Hansen is fighting here with Cairns. And Chad Viger almost into the back of him as McCune pits now from the top 6. But Chad pushing along here, he's dropped 10 spots, and Hansen, who was up at one point, I think 20 spots, is now back to 26th and only up 4. Our biggest mover tonight at this stage is Chad Lewis. In fact, it's Jason Fewens, but Jason has only 1 stopped at this moment. He'll drop a fair way once he takes his second pit stop, but he's up into 5th place, Mr. Fewens.
And Chad Lewis there with 14 places gained since the start. Will be up 5.
Yeah, and he stopped twice, so he should be good to. In fact, no, he'll have to stop again. So he's one of the safety car pit lane drivers. So he came in on that lap 21 safety car, and will need to stop again for about 10 laps worth of fuel.
See, he's not afraid to stick the nose out there with Brian before. He's closed the gap right up there. Interesting to see what he decides to do, knowing that he still has to make one more pit stop if he gets a good run to the back straight.
Now, I've just been sent some photos from Ben Anthony, which are pretty cool. I'm going to put these up on the screen. These are the next generation Vets cars. Might do it in the small screen there because I can't get it centered, but they look pretty cool. Is there talk of them making these for iRacing yet? What's the go with that?
I don't think there's anything official yet, but I can't see why we're not going to see these in the future. Obviously, being that these are going to be the current generation of cars in the near future. So he's thrown a couple together there, which I think look really good. I think he's done a TTR one, some Taipan liveries, and they just lend themselves really well, these current liveries, to the new generation shapes.
Yeah,
they really good.
There's the Taipan one there, and Synergy Sim Racing. They look fantastic. Yeah, so it's a very cool job. There's one of the Evolution Racing Team ones for O'Brien as well. So it'd be great if iRacing keep on top of it and bring those out as soon as they're obviously a real world game as well, and that'd be cool.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of talk about new tracks being scanned too. So hopefully we see some of those come to fruition in the next couple of iRacing seasons, and have a little bit more focus on some Australian tracks in the vet seasons.
That'd be good, because I know even though there's 5 now, we don't generally go to more than 1 or 2 of them in a 12 or 13 round series or 12 round season.
Yeah, look, I think the format that we've got, where we generally follow the iRacing official calendar, works pretty well. It gives the guys the chance to still be running officials and doing practice through official races, or in inverse to that, using the vets, the practice for the vets and their vets racing as a tool to improve their racecraft and to do well in the officials as well. So I think that format is a good format. But I think if we do see those tracks come into play in the official series, then they'll probably feature a little bit more on the official calendar anyway.
Yeah, no, it's good. See, McKnight at the moment, 5-second gap to Nitschke. I'm just watching, not really watching that gap. I'm watching the gap to Favell. It's 33.7 seconds now. If I'm not wrong, that has increased a bit, hasn't it, since the pit stop?
Look, I didn't pay attention to it, but it's going to be very, very close, because if you just drive through pit lane without stopping, you're looking at about the 30-second mark. So obviously he's going to have to stop and get fuel. So it's only really given him 3 seconds of fuel to sort of come out roughly equal with Favell. So I think he is definitely going to drop back a couple of spots.
But doing the maths on that too, it always tricks me, because yes, it takes you 30 seconds to drive down the pit lane, but you've also got to remember it takes 10 seconds to drive down the pit straight. So it's not necessarily a 30-second loss, it's more like a 20-second loss if you look at it that way.
Look, that's true too. I mean, the guys do have to take a shorter route, and slow it down a little bit coming into the pit lane, so their in-laps and out-laps are obviously, they add up as well. So we'll definitely be close. I think Matt Vanderkran being the last person on the single stop strategy to just come out of the pits now too.
Yeah, and I was just watching Latham, Dixon and McCune. They've been in a little battle here back in what is 11th, 12th and 13th with Brenton O'Brien, who has now made his 3rd and final stop. So that'll give you an indication too. So Brenton took 16 seconds worth of fuel for his third stop. McKnight, who's probably saved a bit more, I'm going to predict he's going to take around 13, 14 seconds worth of fuel, so we'll keep an eye how close I am with that. But, you know, he's coming down to 12 and a bit laps to go. Has he slowed it up there to go to the pits? I think he has. No, he hasn't. So you can't be far off, though, because obviously lap 21, you get 21 laps, that's to lap 42. So he's probably only got a maximum of 2 more laps before he's going to need to stop for that final pit stop.
Yeah, I think we might see him come out around Christian Smart and Sebastian Tixia. Yeah, once he's finished his pit stop.
So Nitschke in the pits now, Chris Dale and Stewie, Michael Stewart's in there as well. So they've all come in for their final stop. Todd Duggan, I expect him in. Yep, so he's in as well. So this will bring Greg Favell up into P2 and give us, what's it? It's now 33.1. So it's just come down slightly. He's just done another 2-minute flat lap. So he is lapping about 7/10 quicker than Jamie McKnight at this stage of the race.
Yeah, so he's effectively undercutting him here, with Jamie being the only person in that 3-stop strategy who hasn't pitted yet. So
will it bring, I think McKnight though, it'll definitely bring him probably in around Sharp Tixia in that area there, I would say. 4th and 5th. 4th.
Yeah, I think we'll see him around, in and around where Tixia is sitting at the Interesting there, Tixia only 1/10 slower than Greg Favell on that lap, so he's putting in some quick times too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
trying to really bring that gap down and put some pressure on Sharp.
Dixon McCune wheel to wheel once again. These guys have just been at it for lap after lap, which is very good. And I like the fact that they're, they're probably not going to get a podium tonight, but they're still having a red hot go.
Yeah, and I was talking to some of the guys in the practice session prior to this, and Cune's really found a lot of pace and consistency in the last couple of seasons. It's been really good to see, and his racing is usually pretty hard and fair. It'll be good for him to do a bit of door-to-door racing with Jason, who's been around the iRacing circuit for quite a while.
So just on 10 to go. McKnight's in the pits, so this is going to give us an indication now on where it all stands with everyone now making their final stop. So Jamie was the last. He's hung it out, hasn't he? So he's obviously been able to stop much later than the other 3 stoppers, a lap or 2 later. So fuel saving wizardry coming into play, but there goes Greg Favell flat out. McKnight drops off the jacks at 16.8 seconds stationary, so he will drop down. Gamble goes up into 2nd. Sharp goes through to 3rd. There's McKnight just exiting the pits now, and he's going to pop in between Sharp and Tixia, so 4th place.
Sees Jamie up there 6 spots with fresh tyres on, which I think is really going to help him out here. The guys in front of him, Greg Sharp, it's got 5-lap-old tyres, 6-lap-old tyres in Scott Campbell. So that gap to Greg, I think, will be eyeing off a podium here with those new fresh boots. As I said before, it's about that 5. You've got 2 to 3 really good laps before your tyres drop off quite quickly. So with a window that he's going to, I think, try to put that pressure on and get up behind his wing.
I guess they've got one thing going for them, and that is the track temp. I think it's still around 21 degrees. So I think most races I see at this place are around 55 degrees track temp. Generally, it is quite a hot venue.
Yeah, look, I think that you see a lot of series and they race realistic and hot track temps, and that's all good and well, but it sometimes doesn't make for good racing, and it cannot be as fun. You put yourself in a situation here where you've got a car off there around Tower at turn 13.
Trying to pick up who that is.
Racecraft.
no indicator of a car off the track.
I'll see if I can find that.
Might have been Chad Viger, was it?
Chad Viger. Yeah. Chad Viger's gone off just before Tower there. Looks like he might have a little bit loose in the rear end and done that to himself.
He's rejoined though, so he's all good. No late safety car coming our way, but yeah, at the front, they're just stabilised now. So 1.2 seconds for Vel to Gamble. Do you think Gamble's got anything to try and track him down here?
Look, I wouldn't discount him. I said before, I think the track position was key when I pitted Gamble to win the race. I think Greg's strategy of getting in front is what's going to be his biggest advantage. It's not impossible, but I think he really needs to close that down and start to use the draft on those straights. Without that, Greg's lap times are going to be hard to beat. He's just on the cusp of being able to tuck in under the draft at 1.3 second mark there. So you can see he's hovering around that mark. That's what he'll be trying to do here, is get a good drive, catch up so that he can have a bit of a break and apply some pressure to Favel.
You got to try and relax as well. I mean, if you tense up at this point of the race, is what's happened to McKnight there. If you tense up at this point of the race, obviously you're going to start to go slower. Let's see what Jamie McKnight is saying here. He's just reported something to race control. And he did pass Greg Sharp at one stage there, and then he's dropped back behind Tixia. So I wonder if something happened. Let's have a quick look at that. And I wonder if there was a bit of biff and barge. Here's a replay. So he went to the inside there. And what happens here on the exit? Punches out. So Sharp went out on the dirt, then moved across, and they did get together and bang wheels. Oh, and McKnight, how did he not lose that? That was a wild ride.
He has done well to keep hold of that.
I think we need to watch that again in super slow-mo. So how's the wild ride there over the exit and then across the ripple strip? So you just watch this. Greg Sharp loses control there. There's the first bit of contact. And then just watch McKnight here. This is incredible driving. We'll watch it from that angle. This is the best angle. Look at that. Oh.
And he's crossed up. I think a lesser man would be in the tyre wall there.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. So Jamie McKnight, big save there. Will race control look at it? Because I didn't hear any further conversation from Jamie. Whether or not he just lets that slide, but what it's done is put him back behind Tixia as well, so it was a double whammy.
I don't think he's going to be too pleased about Greg moving across. Obviously, Greg's got a little bit loose on the exit of that.
747, please readdress with 027.
There you go. He's just been told to redress, so this will be difficult for Greg because he's going to lose 2 spots in this redress. He has to give away the spot to Tixia and also McKnight. So there's the damage you can see on the side of the Penrite car too, as he gives up one position now, and then McKnight will probably follow him through and try and take both, will he? He'll try and be a little bit sneaky here, McKnight. No, he comes out. Oh, he hasn't given up the spot yet. Does he reckon that was enough? He sort of got alongside and then he didn't give it up.
Yeah, I think that the way he's done, all that's really done is caused him to slow himself up as well. I think the better position to do that would have been on the back straight, where he can just immediately tuck in behind Jamie and keep going.
He's lost another spot there to Smart, so by doing that, Christian's got him 12.
Yeah, I think that he's taken advantage of that. Christian Smart. So it looks like he might fight for that and maybe just retain that position, having inside run there.
A bit of damage on the right-hand side of the car, but McKnight back into 4th now. There's the redress coming up on the screen, so that's been run and done by all involved. So good job, swift action there from race control, making sure that was dealt with. And McKnight didn't really have to say too much, did he? He just said race control, have a look at it, and they were all over it.
Hoping for just a little bit more room there, Greg.
Yeah, look, it's pretty clear cut. I mean, he didn't hit the apex of the corner, Greg Sharp, and he got loose on the dirt, and he did just come straight across there when it clearly was a bit under speed. So I think it's a good decision. That's probably the fairest penalty.
Yeah, Smart just lit up the rear tyres there. He was really challenging sharp, and then just lit up the rear tyres, and that just, in fact, put him under pressure from Nitschke. So it's funny how it works in ways like that. All of a sudden you're attacking, then you make a tiny error, and you're in full defence mode as well. So
yeah, you can see there on the lap timing that Nitschke had just gained on sharp 8/10 in 3 consecutive laps. So we'll be looking after that little mistake to catch back up and put more pressure on Smart again.
yeah, 5/10 at the front, so the gap's come down.
Yeah, where a Gamble needs to get into his draft is what he's done well here, and that's what's gonna give him the chance to catch up a little bit, and ease off the tyres and try to keep a bit left in the tank for those last couple of laps where he's really want to have to push him hard.
I wonder if Greg's tight on fuel as well. I mean, that's, you know, he does run it. He runs it pretty tight, I think, as well as most of them do. Run it right down to the numbers, but
yeah, I think
Gamble,
he likes to cough it over the line. Gamble does have an extra
leader, yeah.
So he has got an extra seconds worth of fuel, which is about 3 litres, so 3/4 of a lap. So it'll be interesting to see with Gamble having to potentially save fuel, how he can capitalise on Greg's shorter stop.
So there's a few passes going on back down the order a bit. McCune and he's fighting here with Rob Crisdale, I think it is. Who I've got as a down under sim sports, but that's definitely a juiced racing car.
Yeah, he made a change in between rounds just recently, so
Need to update that. So yeah,
updating.
And then you got Jeff Thomas in the background from them.
Very David.
It's Brenton O'Brien as well in 13th, down 2 from where he started. Jeff Thomas has done well again tonight, up 14 spots into the top 12. So yeah, that's another great drive by himself. And where's his teammate gone? Johnny King's just dropped to 18th, but still up 10. So both those guys working together, and as O'Brien sends one down the inside, nice overtake as well. That was nicely done. O'Brien back into 12th place. So yeah, good battles in the mid-pack as well, and the gap at the front still around 4/10. Going back further, Jace Fion's in 22nd place. Damien Cairns in front of him in the Taipan car, just 1 spot outside the top 20. And Marty Hansen, who was up as far as 20 spots, is now still up 10 and sort of settled into, I think, a 20th place finish.
Race control 51.
Oh, Hoff's off, and in the fence we've got Favell off in as well. Favell.
Yeah, copy 51.
Dino's gone off into the fence too, so 2 cars getting together there. And the Hoff, I think, pleading that he's not to blame by the sounds of that.
Yeah, a little bit of chatter going on in race control there. Seeing Michael Stewart, E23, he's only up 1 spot, but he's had a
That wasn't me, was it,
bumper
Anthony?
start to this season.
Nah, mate, all me.
Being in P4 at the moment, championship, so he's going to be pretty pleased with that. Having 5 top 10 finishes out of his 6 starts so far, so not as good a result for him so far in this race, only up the 1 spot in 23rd. He'll be trying to maximise the number of points he can get, only that fight there with Cairns and Fewens, and trying to just bump himself up as close as he can to the top 20, secure a couple of extra points.
Yep. Yeah, he's doing well. So Hypersonic Racing chasing down the Banter Alliance car, and then a couple of Taipan cars in front of that, as we just see Stewie Hall and a very slow John King. I'm not sure if John's got a slow down, but he's just lost a position there and is moving very, very gingerly around that corner. All right, so we've got 5 to go, 5 laps to run here. Favell leads 7/10. The margins just come out slightly again over Gamble, and it's a 2-horse race at the front. Sebastian Tixia now with Jamie McKnight will battle over that final step of the podium.
You know, I'd be interested to see what Knight's times are compared to Tixia, having had fresher tyres and taking on less fuel in that stop. Tixia, they're doing 201 flats, and Jamie doing 201 flats, so just going to be chipping away, trying to get himself in a position where he can attack and try to get that last step on the podium.
That penalty goes out to who is that? The 969, is it? Sorry, 696. It's getting late. 696, Craig Friend. So he gets a drive-through penalty for that one, I think, causing an incident on lap 46, 45. I don't know how your eyes are, mate, but this time of the night, my eyes are absolutely stuffed.
Yeah, well, I actually last night found out that I did a positive test for COVID. So
Oh,
very, very tired, and I can't taste anything.
all right.
Beyond
Yeah.
that,
You
not
haven't
too
got a
bad.
cough yet, though?
No, I actually never got the cough. Got a bit of a stuffy nose. I woke up one morning with the sore muscles, and
Yep.
that kind of went away pretty quick. I didn't think much of it. And I went to have a couple of crackers with my favourite cream brie, and just didn't taste right. I was devastated that I couldn't taste my cheese.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, hope you're all right. You sound good tonight, so thanks for popping in and chatting away, keeping me company, keeping me awake, because I've had a 13-hour day in the office and I'm struggling.
Yes, I can imagine.
So it's good. This is obviously, one of the longer races, 300-kilometre race. I'd hate to think what the drivers feel like. I mean, when I used to do this racing, for me, even doing the 40 minutes races, I used to love. I'm a 25-minute race kind of guy.
Yeah, look, I think there's definitely a hard slog trying to race for this long.
Do these guys love it though? Do they love these long races?
I think that there's mixed emotions about it. The vibe is that a lot of the guys love these because it gives you a chance to really get some strategy into it, and that consistent driving can be the difference, between one or two positions. And there are a lot of guys that thrive on it. They're not, on the other hand, it's an over 40s league, and there's some guys, Greg said before, he's got tendon issues with his elbow, and
Yep.
these kind of races just really don't help that. I mean, I'm not 40 yet, but at the end of a 300-kilometre race, even just watching it without driving, feel like I need to go and have a nap.
Yeah.
It can be very long. One of the things we're looking at for season 13 is maybe not having the 2 in the calendar. Maybe just bringing that down to 1. It gives some guys a chance to drop that round if they want.
Yep.
But the guys who do enjoy doing the longer races with the big fuel capacities and giving them the chance to shine as well. So it's about trying to find a balance, and that's not always easy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So
just looking, Gamble there is at one point was down to 2/10 behind Favell, so he's probably positioning himself there to strike in this last couple of laps.
do you think you'll have one go prior to, the last couple of laps? Like, around now, will he have one bite at it just to see the reaction from Greg? So he's having a look now down the inside. Almost answered my own question there. So
I think he's given us his answer. I don't think he'll be afraid to have a go and to get in front. He's good at making that car very wide. Even having someone tucked in behind you, you still have the option to take that, to defend and take that inside run. And when the corner exit comes on that last corner, it's only a very short run to the finish line. So that might also play in his mind as well, meaning that if he can just get himself in front, defend hard into that last corner, and then the short run to the start finish line might be what he's planning there. But I think if I had to choose personally my style of racing, I'm thinking that I would rather be the attack in that last corner on the last lap. That's probably because I'm not used to being at the front either.
yeah, well, you got right almost under the back bar then of Greg Favell did Scott Gamble. So this will be 2 laps to really, keep fixated on here, because it could be anyone's out of these two. I think P3 at the moment looks like Tixia might just have the measure of McKnight. Last lap around it was a 2:01.08 versus a 2:01.09, so 1/100th of a second in the favour of Sebastian. So super close in the lap times between those two, but I think they're putting everything out there now. That's pretty much all they got.
Yeah, I think, look, they're going blow for blow on lap times, and unless one of these guys slows up a little bit, I think that gap's probably going to stay pretty much the same. Jamie's got a fairly comfortable gap to Christian behind him.
Yep.
He's got those little bit faster lap times, so I don't think he'll be worried about the pressure from behind. As you can see, Favell here he's trying to break the toe up the back straight and get every little bit that he can, every advantage he possibly can coming into. It's going to be the penultimate lap.
Yep, so here we go. He's not close enough this time, but just watching the back end of Favell move around slightly out of the final corner. This is going to be an important lap for Gamble to not make any mistakes, and like I say, just stay relaxed in the car. We'll drive on board with him. He almost rubbed the fence there. Just stay relaxed and not make any errors in braking especially, and here we go. So as we penultimate lap of this race, we are, oh wow, almost into the back there for Favell. Gamble late on the brakes, as late as you want to be. You would hate to make a mistake and hit the back, but he's got a great run out of there, and he gets alongside an overlap here for Gamble. This could be his first shot at it. It'll be Favell still on the inside. He turns in. They're door to door, these two. That is super close now. Oh, was there contact there? There was. Favell goes off the racetrack. Let's hear what is said on the radio here between these two. Will race control have a look at that? Or has Scott Gamble just pulled off an ultimate move to get himself what will be 2 wins in a row, because Favell's dropped all the way back. 3.6 seconds.
He's definitely out of contention now, I think, but
let's have a look at that, because there was no comment to race control, so Greg obviously feels it was fair. So we'll look, so we might go to the overhead shot here. So they, oh no, yeah, so Greg just turned in, and then there was contact, and he just had a big swapper, and that was it. So I reckon fair and square, Gamble's going to win this one with a lap and a bit to go. 1 lap to go.
You might find Greg's, he's got that issue with his elbow. He's probably getting a bit tired. The race is very long, and he's actually made a couple of mistakes so far tonight, and that might have been the one that just put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, so 1 to go. That's put Tixia within a second as well. So I wonder if Greg's got a bit of damage he's carrying now from that hit. It's in fact, it's 1.7 seconds, but you can see in the background they're noticeably closer now, these two, Tixia and McKnight. This is, this is not over here. This is your race leader, though. 4.2 seconds. Scott Gamble for 2 in a row. He'll be happy with that.
Absolutely, and that'll mark the first time this season we've had a winner for more than 1 round. So it's been good to share the accolades, but no doubt he'll be happy that and stand on the top step, and for the second time this season. You can actually see Greg Favell there with a bit of damage on the front left, so
yep,
definitely guys are hoping to just close that gap up a little bit.
That was a good move, though, wasn't it? He really forced the error from Greg in the way. Like Scotty got a great run out of that corner, got alongside, and then Greg turned in to try and keep the pressure door to door. He lost the rear end, which then I think made him slap the side of Scott's car and went off the track, and it's all over. So yeah, it's good forced error there from Scott Gamble on to Greg Favell.
Yeah, look, and that's pretty good driving, I think, both parties out. And Greg's still managed to keep the car out of the fence. And Greg's the first person to say that runs racing, and
there's the damage too. You can just see on that right rear quarter for Scott Gamble, that's where Favell's rubbed against him.
Yeah, and then if you look at the side of Greg's car, he definitely did not come out as well as what Gamble did.
Yep, well, he comes around the final corner now to win round 7 of the V8 Vets. Season 12, Scott Gamble, 2 in a row. And that's great for his championship and a fantastic, well-deserved win. Greg Favell takes P2 ahead of Sebastian Tixier, your top 3. McKnight finishes third. I almost thought he got him. Finishes fourth, just behind Tixier. I thought he got him for a second there. That was very close at the end. In fact, only 33 1/1000ths of a second between Tixier and McKnight across the line. Incredible.
Yeah, I'm wondering what happened to Tixier there. He seemed to slow up. Jamie was weaving across the track, whether or not he's run out of fuel at the last minute.
I think McKnight's out. He's just gone back to the pits, so he's done. And but Scott Gamble, well, we'll talk to him shortly, and you might even interview some boys tonight. This is going to be interesting to talk about that last or second last lap. A little bit of contact, because obviously they're getting on in the race. 51 laps around Sebring, 2 minutes a lap. It's a long race, and was Greg Favell, like you said, feeling it in the arms and just couldn't hold it out to the end.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear his side of the story. But what a race from him to pull out what I think was the fastest lap of the race, and to lead for so long, and it was a great strategy with the undercut to get in front of Scott there. And to Scott's credit, he's put himself in that position to be able to be
good racing everyone tonight
with Greg Favell. So that's a fantastic drive by him.
Yeah, the only driver, Greg, into the 1 minute 59.96. So the only driver to dip below a 2 minute lap. Good job. Well, let's see if we can go find some drivers. We'll go through the full results first, but while we're finding those drivers, this is how the times ended up for round number 7 of the V8 Veterans, and Gamble won it by 3.9 seconds in the end over Favell. Tixier, the McKnight was your 4th place getter from Smart, Sharp, Nitschke, Latham, Dixon and McCune running out your top 10. Chrisdale got 11th tonight with Hall, O'Brien and Kirby down there in 14th. Lewis, Thomas, Hall and King to round out the top 18. 19th in tonight's race was Hanson with 20th for Stephen Kennedy. Damien Cairns just outside the top 20. Jason Fields 24th. As we look down further, Craig Friend got a penalty there to come 30th in the end. And of course Jason Benz 35th was knocked out of the race and did not come back. So that's how it all finished up tonight. Let's see who we can get in for a chat here. So we'll just wait now for them to lob into the green room. And thanks, Luke. Massive thanks for coming in and chatting with me tonight. And Code Broadcasting was great.
No worries. Look, while we're waiting for some guys in the green room, we might just cover a couple of things with what we might have planned for season 13.
Yep.
So obviously with the broadcasting, yourself, you'll be doing the Split 1 broadcast, and we're going to move that across to someone else to alleviate some of the stress on you for Split 2, having such long days.
Yep.
It's a hard slog. So as much as we appreciate that, I think it's going to be good for you to just concentrate on Split 1. So that's one of the first things, and possibly running an endurance series. Not intertwining with the regular season, but maybe one race each season, and having that span over a full 12 months. So that's just some things that we're talking about trying to put into place. So watch this space and see what happens towards the start of season 13.
Awesome. Right, we've got our top 3 with us. So let's first of all go to Scott with another win tonight, man. Congratulations. What a final couple of laps there. You really made a move and put some pressure on Greg. Just talk us through that moment.
Yeah, how you going, Luke? It was a hectic race. Greg drove a really good race, and he got the undercut on us, and we just kept trying to push and stay in his draft. And I wasn't sure whether he was running short on fuel, because it looked like he lifted a couple of times, and he left a gap open, and so I went for it.
Which you got to do.
Yeah, unfortunately there was a bit of contact in it, but we'll look at it later. But I think it's just a racing incident. Shouldn't be.
Yeah, that was a racing incident, mate. That was all good.
And
you guys fought pretty hard there up until that point. Scott, how did you feel after that? After the pit stop cycle where Greg got the undercut and ended up that second and a half up the road. At that point, what's going through your mind, and what's your strategy towards the end of the race after that pit stop?
Yeah, look, I was just trying to hang with him. I knew I had plenty of fuel, I just hope the tyres held in. They didn't hold in real good on the second stint, but that last stint, I was just stay in his draft, and I knew Greggy's got awesome pace, and if he gave us a bit of a tow, and then we're definitely going to try and have a crack that last sort of 7-8 laps, try and get right up on him.
Well, all good, well done, and we'll go across to Greg now. Well done for P2, mate. It's a long race, obviously. 2 hours out there racing around this Sebring track. It's physical, and you hung in there almost to the end.
Yeah, unfortunately I was about 3 litres short, and I didn't realise until 5 to go, so yeah, I was struggling to hold Scott off and try and save at the same time, so yeah, it was inevitable at the end.
Was there ever a point where you thought that you'd maybe just let him catch up and get in front, just try to stick under his wing and fuel save to try to get you over the line, maybe have a crack in that last couple of laps?
No, not really, because by the time I realised, I think it might have been 4 laps to go, I realised and I was going to be in trouble, but I normally overfuel by 2 laps, so I don't know how I've underfueled for the first time. So,
oh, well done.
It's all good.
Yep, well done. We'll go to Sebastian now, P3 tonight, and had a good little dice there with Jamie towards the end.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm totally exhausted. I'm so exhausted I don't remember what happened in the race, basically. I remember just that I was too short for fuel. I clutched so much in the last lap, and I went out of fuel like 20 meters before the finish line. I think Jamie didn't thought I was going to be out of fuel, so he was just staying behind me, but when he realized it was too late.
Yeah, very good. We saw how close it was at the end, so good finish and well done for P3 tonight. Let's do some thank yous, starting with you, Scott, for the win tonight, and really good for your championship, mate, to take out 2 in a row, so well done, Scott. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, Luke, thanks to yourself, broadcasting live, it's awesome, and thanks to the admin. But a big shout out has to go to my teammates. We've been practicing following cars on this track. All the guys and girls in the ERT, they get on board and help and be constructive and give little tips and advice. So it's really helpful, and it's great to have a good team by that. And just a big thanks out to Logitech G, the Truthful system. So thank you.
Great job. And then Greg, P2, who would you like to thank, mate?
Yeah, we'd like to thank Mazda, Blacktown Mazda, Blacktown City GWM Havau, Too Easy Finance, Simrigs, SimSpec Engineering, Card FX, Sideways Photography, all the guys there at V8 Veterans, and yourself for the broadcast, Luke. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, mate. All right, and then finally, Sebastian, P3, who would you like to thank, man?
I don't have sponsor, but I will thank the V8 Vets community, which is great. You for the broadcast, it's always great to watch. And a special thanks to Wayne Lecomte, who actually told me about this league, which is great.
Great to have you here, man, and fantastic racing tonight. So your top 3, congratulations on a Thursday night to take out the V8 Vets. Round number 7, Scott Gamble, congratulations. Greg Favell, great racing, P2, and Sebastian Tixio, 3rd in tonight's race. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Luke.
Yeah, cheers, Luke. Well done, Greg, and Seb. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done, mate.
You too.
Awesome, and a big thanks to Luke Holland as well, coming in and broadcasting with me tonight and commentating away. Massive help, man, and it does help me a lot after the days I'm having at this time. So great job, and thanks for all your hard work. Thanks for all the admin as well. I mean, you guys do an incredible job in the background. Quite often doesn't get any thanks at all, so thank you, Luke.
No worries, mate. Look, any time that I'm available and you'll have me, I'm more than happy to jump in and say hello and say a few words.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll see how we go. So, and we'll see you next week for the next round of this fantastic championship. Catch you guys.
See you, mate.
Cheers. Right, that's it for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and take care. We'll be back with round number 8 next Thursday night. Good night.